Welcome to India's Future Tycoons Season 4. I am Sushil Mungekar, founder and CEO of Empower, the organization behind India's Future Tycoons, India's first entrepreneurship search and mentorship platform for young adults. Very fact that we are talking about fourth season, that means you have completed 3 seasons over the last 3 years. The whole genesis of this idea of launching the platform is our strong belief that you young adults, students in the age group of 13 to 18 are a great powerhouse of ideas. You have great ability to connect the dots. You can think beyond obvious and you can actually look at problems around you and come up with innovative solutions. And last 3 years our belief has even got strengthened because the kind of responses that we have got from students across the country is simply unparalleled. We got 17,000 students from 600 schools from 252 different cities of India participating on various themes, solving the problem around education, solving problem around water, poverty, hunger, and so on and so forth. And IFT4 being co-powered by UFS Learning and partnered by United Nations Global Compact, this season we are expecting even more overwhelming response than the previous years. So fasten your seatbelts. I am going to be your host for these learning sessions over next 4 or 5 videos. And honestly, believe me, these are not learning sessions. These are basically interactions with you to understand how ideas are built, what is the process of building great ideas, and what is that you need to do to actually come up with a solution and ultimately submit those ideas. So we are going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about, take some examples and talk about how those examples have actually built ideas, and if they can do that, why can't we do that? And towards the end of this session, we'll also talk about the theme of this year, which is techpreneurship, social techpreneurship, reimagining India. And I'll also then touch upon at the end towards how to submit, what to submit. So let's start with our own learning. I'm sure each one of you would have gone through India's Future Tycoons website, and very fact that you have registered and you have formed your teams, or maybe you are participating as an individual. I would suggest go through this website thoroughly. It actually tells you on one hand about what the process is, and at each interval what's going to happen, how slowly your ideas will get mentored, and ultimately you get a chance to get into top 24. But besides that, it also talks about the rewards and the recognition that you will get, the schools that you are participating, what would they get out of it, and more importantly, there's a lot of learning on the site about the theme and about what we are talking about. Also, there is a host of videos at the bottom about past winners. I would strongly recommend that go through those videos, because you will be able to understand that in the previous sessions, previous seasons, how students have worked on their ideas and how they have refined their ideas through the process. So one is, it will act like a motivation for you, but more importantly, there's a great amount of learning that you actually can draw from those videos. This year the theme is social techpreneurship, reimagining India. As you know that IFT is always associated with United Nations Global Compact, and we always nurture students to solve sustainable development goals, and therefore the themes are around that. This year, in fact, the themes are completely open. You can take any of sustainable development goal. There are 17 goals. You can pick up any one of them. Techpreneurship is nothing but using technology for solving this problem. This year we are little bit focusing more on technology and how technology can help you to solve the problem. We are going to go through that as well during our conversations. And obviously, your idea has to reimagine India. You should be able to solve the problem which India is facing at large. It can be your own community where you stay, or the city that you are staying, or the state what you are, or maybe a complete problem for the nation. I mean, the canvas is open for you. But more importantly, you have now an ability to define your own future. So don't miss this opportunity. Whether you win, whether you lose, that's a separate conversation. But this particular opportunity of participating in IFT4 will get you a chance to define your own future and see the power of your own ideas and enjoy this process. I like this kind of a picture because traditionally we are so confined in what others are doing and continue to do what they do, whether it is marks, grades, jobs, professions, careers, so on and so forth, and do not dare to think beyond what is the traditional wisdom talks about. And if you go through this code, you'll always realize that if we always do what we are always done, you will keep on getting the same results which you will keep on getting all the time. One of the biggest impediment in coming up with an idea is our own comfort zone itself. The way we look at things, our past knowledge, our own perspective about the society, their problems. If you come out of that comfort zone, then the real magic is actually about to begin. So always challenge it and obvious, and that's the starting point of coming up with great idea. So this platform actually gives you a chance to come out of that comfort zone, and if you promise me that you are now going to take a step outside your comfort zone, the magic is actually awaiting for you. I know that while I'm talking to all of you, I can clearly see there are three separate categories of people. Number one is students who are already having an idea and they're bubbling out of their seats. Tell us where to submit, what to submit. Our entire idea is ready. We are just waiting for a final submission. Hold on. I'm glad that you have an idea, but this process, as you go through, you will realize that you can add a lot of things to your idea and refine that and make it better and better. So go through this process. This will be helpful. There are second category of people who are by and large aware about a problem statement that you want to solve, but they do not have clear understanding of what their idea is. These videos will really help you to go through a structured process of how ideas can be built. And there will also be a section of students who just do not have clue how these ideas are generated, how to go about it. Doesn't matter. This particular tutorial will actually help you to go through the process, and in this process not only you will be able to identify your idea, but you will be able to first identify the problem that you want to solve, and then we will be able to link it to SDGs. And whenever we start talking about an idea, I always start with this quote of none other than Albert Einstein. And he says very clearly, if somebody gives me 1 hour to come up with an idea, I would rather spend 55 minutes out of it in terms of defining the problem, understanding the problem, and thinking about the problem, and only 5 minutes on the solution. Does it sound weird? But actually, interestingly, this is true. If you come up with an idea on the sake of idea, that has no meaning unless and until you have an ability to identify the problem and link it to the idea. And that's where, if you look at the process of ideation, idea or the sake of idea has a lot of things that actually has to go beneath it. The first and the foremost thing is to identify the problem. And if you have built an ability to identify the problem, then idea, whatever idea that you come up with, makes more sense. Remember, a joy of coming up with an idea is great, but the joy of solving someone else's problem and seeing that people are using your idea in form of a product or a service or a solution is tremendous. And if you really want that joy where the idea becomes operational, then it is very important that we should identify the problem for which this idea can be used. If you have to identify that problem, there are three important steps that we need to take, and what I call as the process of ideation. Number one is empathy. Empathizing with the user who's having the problem. And we are going to spend some time on empathy and understanding how empathizing with people and understanding their problem helps us to build better ideas. So let's look at empathy. The second step is, once you start talking to people and get their experiences, you start building insights out of it. You generally can't go around and ask people, tell me what's your problem, and expect people to articulate their problem fantastically. It doesn't happen that way. In real world, many of the times people are not even aware about their problem. You have to talk to them, you have to empathize with them, you have to get a lot of experiences out of them, and basis that you have to form insights, and those insights will really help you to go to the crux of the problem. Many of the times the problem has to be defined by you, not by the user. But for defining that problem, your understanding of the user, your empathy about the user is the fundamental. If you do that well, your insights will be better. If your insights are better, your understanding of the problem will be better. Your definition of the problem will be sharper, and therefore your solution will be directly linked to the problem. Your acceptance of the solution by the user who is having the problem will be significantly higher and better. And this is a process of idea generation. So remember, idea for the sake of idea is of no use unless and until it has ability to solve people's problem. And that's why I always say that idea is not the starting point. Understanding people's problem, empathizing with people to understand this problem is the starting point. What we are going to do is we are going to see a story of Zomato. Zomato is a listed company now, a food delivery app, and one of the unicorns, early unicorns in India, a powerful story. But rather than getting into the financials and how the company is doing, we are going to go through the genesis of the idea, how the founder Dipender Singh Goyal actually came up with this idea, what was his journey of coming up with this entire idea. Let's see the next video, understand this journey, and then again we'll come back and reflect on what this journey is all about and what this really teaches us in terms of idea generation. So let's have a look at this video and we'll reassemble back.